Ever wondered how a weapon could be designed to act more like a giant directional shotgun instead of a typical explosion that just goes boom in all directions? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? A blast you can actually aim? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. The M18 Claymore mine is one of the most iconic and frankly terrifying pieces of military hardware ever invented. And its story is way more fascinating than you might think. So grab a seat, because we're about to unpack the genius and the sheer power behind the Claymore, right here on Facts Discoveries. Let's start with the basics. What even is a Claymore? When most of us hear the word mine, we picture something buried in the ground, waiting for an unlucky footstep. But the M18 is a different beast altogether. It's an above-ground directional fragmentation mine. That's a mouthful, I know. Let's break it down. Above ground means it's usually set up on a small pair of scissor-like legs pointed towards where you expect trouble. Directional is the key part in like a grenade that throws shrapnel everywhere. The Claymore focuses its deadly payload in a very specific direction. And fragmentation, well, that's the nasty part. Inside the slightly curved rectangular plastic casing of a Claymore, there's a layer of C4 explosive. But packed in front of that explosive is the real star of the show. About 700 quarter-inch steel balls. When the C4 detonates, it acts like a massive propellant, launching those steel balls forward at an incredible speed. We're talking over 3,900 feet per second. Think of it like this. Imagine taking 700 ball bearings, lining them up, and then hitting them with a sledgehammer powered by high explosives. The result is a devastating fan-shaped spray of metal projectiles. The design is brilliantly simple, yet brutally effective. The curved shape of the mine isn't just for looks. It's precisely engineered to ensure that when it detonates, those 700 steel balls spread out in a 60-degree horizontal arc, like a deadly rainbow. This arc is about 6.5 feet high and can be lethal out to 50 meters, or about half a football field. Even out to 100 meters, getting hit by one of these projectiles can cause serious injuries. Beyond that, the fragments lose their energy pretty quickly. But within that kill zone, it's an incredibly dangerous place to be. This controlled fan-shaped blast is what makes people call it a directional shotgun. It's not a random explosion. It's a calculated, focused wall of steel. Now, here's something that might surprise you. How is this thing actually set off? Popular culture, movies, and video games often show claymores being triggered by tripwires. A soldier walks through a thin, almost invisible wire, and boom! While a Claymore asterisk can be set up with a tripwire-activated fuse, that's not its primary or most common use. The M18 is, first and foremost, a command-detonated weapon. This is a huge deal. It means a soldier, safely tucked away in a foxhole or behind cover, holds the trigger a small, handheld electrical firing device, often called the clacker. This little device is connected to the mine by a long wire, usually about 100 feet long. The soldier watches the area, and only when the enemy enters the kill zone do they squeeze the clacker. This sends an electrical pulse down the wire to the blasting cap inside the mine, initiating the C4 and firing the weapon. This level of control is what makes the Claymore so versatile. It's not just a passive trap, it's an active ambush weapon. Soldiers can pick the exact moment to fire for maximum effect, avoiding friendly fire or wasting the mine on a single target when a larger group is approaching. It gives the user tactical patience and precision, turning a defensive tool into a potential offensive game-changer. The story behind the Claymore is just as interesting as its mechanics. Its development dates back to the aftermath of the Korean War. The US military realized they were facing massive human wave attacks and needed a better way to defend their positions. The idea of a directional mine wasn't entirely new. The Germans had experimented with similar concepts in World War II, but an American inventor named Norman MacLeod took the concept and perfected it. He experimented with different designs, figuring out the exact curvature, the right amount of explosive, and the optimal size and number of projectiles. His work in the 1950s led to the creation of the M18A1 Claymore, which was officially adopted in 1960. One of the most legendary features of the Claymore is the simple, direct instruction molded right into its olive drab casing. Front toward enemy. It seems almost comically obvious, right? But in the heat of battle, under stress, and in the dark, mistakes happen. Setting up a Claymore backwards would mean sending those 700 steel balls directly at your own position. A catastrophic, fatal error. That simple all-caps instruction has saved countless lives by being a foolproof reminder. It's become so iconic that the phrase itself is now part of military slang. The Claymore quickly proved its worth in the jungles of Vietnam. It was perfect for defending fire bases, setting up ambushes along trails, and protecting the perimeter of a camp at night. Its psychological impact was also huge. The knowledge that any patch of jungle could be hiding a remotely triggered wall of steel was a constant source of fear for enemy forces. Over the years, the design has been so effective that it's barely changed. The M18A1 is still in use by the US military and dozens of other armed forces around the world. Of course, many countries have also created their own versions, some legal, some not. The Claymore is a prime example of a weapon so well designed that it became the standard by which all similar weapons are measured. But let's talk more about the user experience, the nitty-gritty of setting one of these up. A soldier carrying a Claymore gets it in a bandolier, a sort of sling bag. Inside, you'll find the mine itself, the scissor legs, the clacker, the wire, and a small tester to make sure the circuit is good before you arm it. Setting it up is a practiced drill. You find a good spot, unfold the legs, and stick them in the ground, aiming the front toward enemy side where you want it to go. Then, you unspool the wire back to your safe position. You plug one end into the mine's blasting cap, and the other end into the clacker. The final step is arming it, which is usually done by removing a safety pin or rotating a switch on the clacker. Now, it's hot and ready to go. The whole process is designed to be as safe as possible for the user right up until the moment of firing. But the real skill lies in placement. An experienced soldier knows how to use the terrain to their advantage. They might place a Claymore to cover a trail, the entrance to a building, or a wide open field where an enemy might try to advance. They might even use multiple Claymores to create overlapping fields of fire, making it virtually impossible for anyone to cross an area unscathed. It is a testament to the weapon's design that even in our modern age of smart bombs and drones, the humble, low-tech Claymore remains an essential tool. It doesn't need a satellite link, it's not vulnerable to hacking, and it works in any weather. It's a reliable, powerful, and terrifyingly effective solution to a fundamental problem in warfare: how to control a piece of ground and deny it to your enemy. So, the next time you see a Claymore in a movie or a game, you'll know it's more than just a simple booby trap. It's a carefully engineered weapon born from battlefield necessity that gives a single soldier the power to unleash a controlled storm of steel with the squeeze of a trigger. It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective designs are the ones that are simple, direct, and brutally to the point. Thanks for sticking with us on this deep dive into the M18 Claymore. If you found this interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Facts Discoveries for more breakdowns of the world's most incredible tech and history. Let us know in the comments what we should explore next. Catch you in the next one.